So we're actually just going to keep it right moving. Maggie Sather is here. She's got a little bit of information about the Chicago Community Grant Program. This is especially one of the things that your funds tonight are being raised for. So you'll start to see where some of the money from BWB Chicago programs are actually being outputted to. And I'm going to see if I can get some more information up for Maggie on this little screen behind her. But in the meantime, Maggie, take it away.
Video? All right.
Don't read Dietrich's email. Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to see all of you here, and you're all so smiley, and it makes it so much easier to speak up here. And as Dietrich was just saying, your donation here at the door is directly supporting the Chicago Community Grant Program. And this is really our only fundraiser of the year, so thank you so much for supporting us. So our program is still pretty new. We've only been doing it for a couple of years, and we have 2 cycles a year in usually May and November. And what we're trying to do is create kind of a social experiment to connect individuals, organizations and projects, and cultivate community, create space for collaboration, and basically try to change the world one little step at a time. And so how it works is pretty simple. We put a call out to people to submit proposals for usually grassroots programs that don't have a lot of funding, for whom $1,000 could make a really big difference. And so we get anywhere between 10 and 20 submissions typically, and then we have a selection committee of 4 people that reviews all those submissions, narrows it down to 4 proposals that they think meet our goals the best, and those people are invited to speak at a salon. The way the salon works is anybody can come in, and we ask for a donation on a sliding scale between $5 and $10. They come in, they listen to the 4 10-minute presentations, and then they get to vote on the project that they want to see funded. And then everybody gets to eat. That's the best part, and that's the part that your donation here is funding. That pays for the food, and Edible Alchemy is so awesome and provides the food, and everybody loves it, and we get rave reviews, and everybody gets to sit and collaborate with other people and find out about what everybody's doing and how everybody can work together. It's really a beautiful thing. And then at the end of the night, the winner or winners are announced, and we actually get to give some money to the people, and it's wonderful. So what is special about this program, and what are we trying to achieve? Well, it reflects a change in the maturity of our Chicago Burning Man community. We decided that the art grants are awesome, and we're going to keep those going, and those have been going for years now, and those fund projects that are primarily just for our own enjoyment at our parties and our Lakes of Fire and events. But we wanted to do something that would connect to the broader Chicago community. And use the funds that we collect, that we get from donations at our parties, and spread that out for more of the common good. Along those lines, somebody made a comment that this really grounds out what we do as a community. Each participant has a stake. Everybody who is at the salon puts their own money in, and they put their vote. And they get to choose where the money that we've all raised goes, which is pretty great. Also, community building. There's a lot of networking at these events, even among the different organizations that present. One example is we had Share Your Souls give a presentation, and they collect shoes and distribute those to people around the world who don't have shoes. We had another group that was Girl Forward, and that was adolescent refugee girls living in Chicago. And they talked to each other and said, hey, how about you have your girls come and process the shoes at our warehouse, and we can connect that way. So
Maggie, I just came up on these pictures actually. So
perfect.
If you know where we're at, here is Girl Forward.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, just leave it on that for now, and then I'm going to go through each different program later.
Awesome.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to go back to one part?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. This was a last minute addition, these pictures, so thank you, Dietrich. Where was I? Also, the audience participants can find ways to share their resources with these different programs and volunteer for them. Immediacy. We are instantly injecting the funds into these programs, and we are putting our trust into them by just giving them cash. There's a lot less red tape than with a lot of other grant organizations. And participation. There's volunteerism available for just about all of the projects that present, and there are tons of volunteer opportunities for the salons themselves. So now I'm going to talk about the different grant winners that we've had over the last couple of years so you can get a better idea of the type of projects that we've funded. The first one was One Heart, One Soul, Unspoken Words, and that is an organization for homeless youth to teach them the arts and give them a way to express themselves. And we actually had some of the youth from this program come and help us, and they gave part of the presentation. And it was really moving. They were talking about how they feel silenced, they feel invisible, they feel like nobody really knows the story of homeless youth. And when a couple of them said that when they came to this program, they really didn't have a lot of direction, they didn't have a lot of hope. But the director of this program, Mariah, is a really amazing woman, and she's taught them photography skills and poetry skills, and they've been able to express themselves through that and actually show their work at art shows and sell some of it. And more than one of the youth said, I just don't want to think about where I would be right now without this program and without Mariah. And there were a lot of tears, and I'm almost tearing up right now. So that was great, and that was their first grant they ever received. They had just been using money out of their own pockets and fundraisers.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but because this photograph, the color composition is not great on the projector right now, I'm sorry. But this is actually the front corner of Eco. One of the first community grant salons was held right here.
On a very, very hot July day. we were expecting about 30 people and had enough food for about 30 people, and they just kept coming in. Yeah, close to that.
So, success!
Yeah, that was amazing. And to the credit of Edible Alchemy, they went upstairs and they found random stuff from their shelves and just pulled together enough food to feed more than double the amount of people they were expecting. It was beautiful. Our second grant winner was Girl Forward Safe Spaces, which I talked a little bit about before, and that's a nonprofit that works with adolescent refugee girls in Chicago. And this is a population that I really didn't know much about before, but they face a lot of obstacles: the language barrier, the social isolation, poverty. They've come from really violent areas, they've lived in refugee camps, and a lot of times they live in an apartment, like a one-bedroom apartment with a dozen family members, and they have to take care of the kids and the grandparents. And this program gives them a place to be, a place to gather and connect with other girls in a similar situation. And the particular part of this program that the grant funded was Safe Spaces. And what that did was helped the girls map out safe ways to get from point A to point B, and also identified businesses in the area that could be safe places for them to go if they needed directions or needed to use the phone. They also did outreach to the families because a lot of the parents are scared to let the kids leave the house, so it made a big impact for the kids. Then we had Peace Within Youth, which is a violence prevention program operated in Chicago Public Schools. And it helps high school students to develop peace within themselves through things like meditation and yoga. And then the high school students then work with younger kids and teach them the same things. And a lot of these programs happen in neighborhoods with a lot of poverty and violence, where these kind of things are especially useful. In the presentation, they talked about how some of the kids said things like, I used to get into a lot of fights, but now I learned meditation, or I've been teaching my friends how to chill out, and it's an amazing thing. Then we had Circles and Cyphers Studio Session, which is a leadership program for previously court-involved and incarcerated youth, which was a writing workshop, recording music, and spoken word in a recording studio, and it gives those youth a safe place to be, and expressing themselves in that way provides them respect and validation that they haven't gotten a lot of in their lives. We also had some really powerful performances from some of those youth at the presentation. And then finally, at our last salon, just in November, the winner was the Kenzie Carroll Garden, which is a community garden in West Humboldt Park, and they transformed a vacant lot into a community garden. So people can plant things and they can sell them at the farmer's market and learn about nutrition and connect with their other community members. One of the things that stood out from the presentation that Dan gave on that was that a concern came out of like, well, what if somebody comes in our garden and they take food and they didn't actually work to grow it? And Dan was just like, well, that's success. That's somebody that needs food and found a way to get some free, nutritious food. So
we did finally hear from Dante. He is available to speak.
Awesome. Once
Maggie is done, we'll take a short break again. We'll come back around and hear more specifically about the garden that won the last grants program.
Wonderful. And then we also were able to award a second prize grant to Jacques Mille Expression, which you just heard about. And I'm not going to say more about that because Sue just did an amazing job with that. The whole program, this is a quote from Kilimanjaro, who's one of our long-term community leaders, and he's been really moved by this whole community grant program. He said, "The whole program is the perfect intersection between community service, art, and immediacy." A lot of people tell us that the events are really inspiring, that we should do more of this, and one person told me it was the most important event he had ever attended. So, how we're growing and our goals for the future. We received 8 applications the first time, and now we're getting more like 16, which is awesome. And we're also spreading the word further beyond the Burning Man community, and we want to do that more, so please help us do that. We also have received increased funding from Burn. I didn't talk about the specifics about our funding, but how it works is Burn now gives us $750 per salon, and then we also collect the donations at the door. So we pool that money together, and that's what we have to fund the grants. And so our initial goal was to give $1,000, up to $1,000, but now, the last time we raised $1,333, so we were able to award the $1,000 plus the second prize of $233. So we are really hoping to continue. Thank you. We're really hoping to continue to be able to give those second prize grants, because it's just really sad to have all these amazing presentations and then just not be able to fund them. We want to fund everything. We're hoping to grow it even further, to increase the funds and be able to fund more projects at higher levels and inspire people to create their own grassroots programs. Now, here's the good part. You guys are all really excited about this and want to know how you can get involved, right?
How do we get involved?
There are so many different ways. First of all, please spread the word about this. We have money and we want to give it to people. So if people knew about that more, I think more people would apply. And like I said, we want to spread the word beyond our community. We get a lot of people from our local Burning Man community with the projects they're working on, and they apply, and that's awesome. We want to get more people from outside the community too represented. Also spread the word to people who may want to volunteer for this, and volunteer yourself. There's opportunities to volunteer at each of the salons. You can do things like set up, clean up, cook food, serve food, take money at the door, lots of different things. We also have the selection committee I talked about, which is 4 people, and each cycle 2 people rotate out and 2 more people come in. So we have a space for 2 new judges for the next salon in May. So if you're interested in that, it's not a very big time commitment. It's basically reviewing the applications online, and then you all meet together and discuss and choose a winner, or 4 winners. We're also always looking for people to join our leadership team. If you have more time on your hands and you're really inspired by this and you want to be involved more, that would be great. So thank you again for your donation and your time and your awesome listening.